From Neural Newscast, this is Deep Dive, exploring the moments that shape today.
Welcome to Neural Newscast. I'm Michael Turner.
And I'm Claire Donovan. This is Deep Dive.
It is May 12th, 2026. Today we're looking back at a moment when the eyes of the world were fixed on a divided city in Germany. It was a time of immense political tension, but also of incredible human endurance.
On this day in 1949, the Soviet Union finally lifted its land blockade of West Berlin. It ended nearly a year of isolation for the city's residents, who had been kept alive solely by a continuous stream of cargo planes.
The scale of that operation, the Berlin Airlift, was staggering. For months, the weather over the flight corridors was a constant factor, and the sheer persistence of the pilots flying in coal and food was a feat of atmospheric navigation and grit.
From a labor perspective, Michael, it was an enormous mobilization. It wasn't just the pilots, it was the ground crews and the local Berliners who worked around the clock to unload those planes every few minutes. When the blockade finally ended, it was a massive victory for organized logistics and worker resilience.
The geopolitical climate shifted that day. It marked a clear failure of the blockade as a pressure tactic and solidified the division between East and West for decades to come. It's a reminder of how quickly the world can change when resources become a tool of diplomacy.
While we're talking about figures who changed the world, we have three very significant birthdays to celebrate today, starting with a woman who defined the very concept of modern healthcare.
You're speaking of Florence Nightingale, born on this day in 1820. We often think of her as the lady with the lamp, but she was also a brilliant statistician who used data to prove that sanitation saves lives.
She really was a pioneer for worker protections in the medical field, Michael. She established standards for nursing that protected both the patients and the staff, transforming a poorly regarded job into a respected profession. Her legacy is the backbone of the modern hospital system.
Another trailblazer born today, though in a very different arena, is Katharine Hepburn. Born in 1907, she became a symbol of independence in Hollywood. She famously refused to play the traditional starlet role and kept her career on her own terms for over 60 years.
I've always admired how she navigated the studio system, Michael. She was essentially her own labor advocate, buying out her contracts and choosing her own projects. She broke the mold for what a leading lady could look like and how she could behave.
And we can't forget our third birthday, a man who brought a unique kind of wisdom to the baseball diamond. Yogi Berra was born on this day in 1925. He was a 10-time World Series champion with the Yankees, but he's perhaps just as famous for his paradoxical quotes.
Those yogiisms are legendary. But beyond the humor, Michael, he was a master of his craft. He knew the workplace of the baseball field better than almost anyone, showing that expertise often comes with a very grounded, practical perspective.
Whether it is Nightingale's data or Berra's intuition, today's birthdays really highlight the different ways people can master their environments.
That focus on care and mastery actually leads us perfectly into our fact of the day, which looks at the language we use for those who look after us.
This is a fascinating one. Did you know that the word nurse actually shares its roots with the word nourish? It comes from the Latin word nutrire, which means to suckle or to feed.
It makes total sense when you think about it, Michael. The history of the profession is rooted in that fundamental human act of providing what someone needs to survive and grow. It ties right back to Florence Nightingale's mission of creating environments where healing is possible.
It's a powerful connection between language and the labor of care that we see every day. From the end of a blockade that fed a city, to the lives of those who spent their years nourishing our culture and our health, May 12th is a day defined by replenishment.
It truly is. I'm Claire Donovan.
And I am Michael Turner. Thank you for joining us for this look at the stories that shape our world. You can find more history at deepdive.neuralnewscast.com.
Deep Dive is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. Explore history every day on Neural Newscast.
This has been Deep Dive on Neural Newscast, exploring the moments that shape today.